It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your excellent leadership in holding this hearing. And let me key in on Dr. Kwok's testimony when she talked about these ASEAN countries or Southeast Asian countries, they don't want to be forced to choose. They don't. This does corroborate some of the public comments and some of the analysis from our embassies when I traveled to Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, the Philippines. But, you know, privately in our meetings with our counterparts, they do want to choose. They want to choose the United States. That has not changed from the Biden administration to the Trump administration. I would argue, especially Indonesia, a vibrant democracy, they want to choose. They want to choose the United States, and that hasn't changed from one administration to the other. In fact, I remember very vividly when we were in Jakarta, hearing a very stern admonition from the foreign minister, Marsudi, how terribly upset the Indonesians were and others ASEAN country leaders were that President Biden skipped the ASEAN conference. So this sense of a vacuum, it's not unique to now. It existed before the Trump administration. I think it's not a change in policy on trade that has given us this challenge of needing to deepen our ties with them. In fact, I want to challenge the critics of the Trump administration's trade strategy a little bit when they claim that the president's efforts to negotiate more reciprocal deals are pushing ASEAN nations towards Beijing or making these nations more vulnerable to Xi Jinping's acts of coercion. In fact, what is the objective of the Trump trade policy? It's actually to deepen our economic ties. It's to reduce the trade barriers to American exporters. And so if the end goal of this is more reciprocal trade between the United States and ASEAN, this has enormous potential to reverse the sentiment expressed by Foreign Minister Marsudi that the Biden administration was not paying enough attention to ASEAN. So Ms. Weisel, I totally agree with your testimony when you talk about a regional agreement that should consolidate and expand ASEAN commitments to eliminate tariff and non-tariff barriers in goods and services across the region. You say it also should require new commitments on customs and trade remedies. And then you say, in exchange, the United States should gradually eliminate tariffs on imports from Southeast Asian partners to the agreement. That sounds exactly like the America First trade policy. We're asking them to lower their trade barriers to American exporters, and in exchange, we will reduce tariffs on them. Why does this policy not create an opportunity for greater economic integration between the United States and ASEAN to the detriment of the malign influence of Beijing?
Well, as I said at the outset, I think that they feel, that the tariff threat hanging over them is a five-alarm fire. It has caused potentially tremendous damage to their economies with all of the uncertainty and the threats. I think that all of the ASEAN countries do indeed want to engage more deeply with the United States. They want to have greater economic cooperation, but they want to do so as equal partners in this negotiation. So as we look to see areas where we can cooperate, they would like to see reciprocal access. In other words, they would take on the rules that we are pushing and in areas that are really important to us across the range of economic areas, when we talk about customs and digital trade and all of these areas that are important to the United States, but in exchange, they would like something in return.
And I'm running out of time, but I take your testimony in good faith that you argue that the Trump policy does have the opportunity to open up U.S. exports to Southeast Asia, but you still maintain that they will de-risk from the United States as a result of this. I'm not sure that's necessarily true. If we get better, more integrated economic deals as a result of the policy, I think they will de-risk from China. I don't have much time left, but I would love, maybe in a second round, Madam Chair, to talk about outbound investment into China and what's going to replace that if we restrict outbound investment in China. Does that create opportunities for a more U.S. investment into ASEAN as a way to relocate supply chains?
My ranking member has just left.